Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something really interesting. We're looking at common English mistakes, but the kind that genuinely surprise people, even native speakers. Our mission, give you that shortcut, that, inside track on why these quirks happen.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating really is how common these are. We're talking habits that are just, well, baked into everyday speech, even when they're technically off. These aren't just for learners. Native speakers do it constantly. So yeah, expect a few aha moments, definitely.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, the classic me versus I. We all hear it, right? Me and my friend went to the store. It sounds pretty normal in conversation.
It really does, and that's the tricky part. But the standard grammatical way is, my friend and I went to the store. Often the mistake comes from something called hypercorrection.
Hypercorrection.
Yeah, like people know me went to the store is wrong, so they sort of overcompensate and avoid me, even when it should be the object. Or in this case, they mix up the subject rule. The easy trick is still take the other person out.
Ah, right.
You wouldn't say, me went to the store. You'd say, I went. So it's my friend and I went. Simple test, but easy to forget.
That hypercorrection idea makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Less versus fewer. I mean, you still see supermarket signs. 10 items or less drives grammar fans mad, right?
Oh, completely. That's a perfect example. The traditional rule is pretty clear. Fewer is for things you can actually count. Countable things. Like people, books, items. So it should be fewer people came to the party, or 10 items or fewer. Less is for stuff you can't really count. Individually uncountable nouns. Think water, time, sugar, enthusiasm.
Like, I have less water.
Exactly. I have less time. But, in everyday chatty English, that line's getting really blurry. That's why 10 items or less is just everywhere. Language changes.
It really does. Okay, speaking of things that sound emphatic but aren't standard, double negatives. I don't want nothing. You hear it in music, sometimes just for effect.
For sure. It definitely has a place in certain dialects and, music lyrics for emphasis. But in standard English grammar, those two negatives don't, and nothing, technically cancel each other out.
Meaning you do want something.
Exactly. So the standard way to say it is, I don't want anything. Or you could say, I want nothing. It's interesting, though, because Old English actually used double negatives for emphasis. So it's not totally out of nowhere, linguistically speaking. It just shifted in standard usage.
Huh. History lesson there, too.
Right.
Okay, what about words we just say wrong, mispronunciations?
Yes, definitely. Happens all the time, often just because of how a word looks written down, or maybe just laziness, Our sources point out a couple of really common ones. First, February.
Ah,
That's how many say it, but technically it's meant to be February. With that first R sound, it often gets sort of swallowed.
Okay. Feb-R-U-ary. Got it. What's another?
Wednesday. It's spelled W-E-E-D-N-E-S-D-I.
Right.
But almost nobody pronounces that deuce. The standard pronunciation is really just Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. That vivod is silent.
It's a good example of how sounds just erode over time to make words easier, quicker to say.
Fascinating. So our mouths are literally streamlining the language. Okay, fifth and final one for today. And this one catches so many people. Using could've when it should be could have. Like, I could have done that.
Oh, constantly. You hear it all the time. And this one is almost purely down to sound pronunciation. When we speak quickly, could have naturally contracts to could have.
Could have, yeah.
And could have sounds almost identical to could have. So our ears trick us, and then it creeps into writing.
But written down, it's always wrong.
Always wrong in writing, yes.
Yeah.
It has to be could have, I could have gone. It really shows that gap between casual speech and formal writing.
Okay, this is brilliant. So for everyone listening, let's just take a second to lock one of these in. That could have one seems like a good one to practice.
Good idea. Let's really focus on that sound. Try actually saying it out loud right now, wherever you are. Say, could have.
Yeah.
Emphasize the have.
Could have.
Now put it in that sentence, I could have gone to the party. Say it clearly, I could have gone.
I could have gone. It feels different when you focus on it.
Right. It helps sort of retrain your brain in your mouth.
Amazing. So there you have it. A deep dive into these super common English quirks. You're now armed not just with the what's, but the why.
Exactly. And hopefully you'll start noticing these everywhere now. So the question for you to think about is, which one of these surprised you the most? Which one did you maybe not even realize was, a thing?
Great question to ponder. Keep listening to the language around you, keep questioning, and of course, keep diving deep with us. Until next time.